Welcome to another episode of Hot Genius. I'm your host, Christina Modafari, and this episode is called A Simple Guide to Nervous System Regulation. I am so excited for this episode because this is one of those episodes that you can come back to at any time. It is going to be packed with so much useful but practical information, very easily to understand, and something that you can do as you're listening or straight after the podcast. Please make sure that if you enjoy this, send this to those who you love, who you know could really use assistance in this area. These are some of the main, most powerful nervous system regulation techniques that I learned and practiced over the years while I was a therapist, and it's as well as in my own personal life. And so let's get straight into it. So I'm going to share with you the main ones that we're going to discuss in the episode, just so we're clear. There's many, many more. There's so many different techniques that we can use, but we'll just go over the ones that we'll be discussing for today, in which I find the most helpful. So the first one is havening technique. The second one is breathwork. The third one is visualization. The fourth one is meditation, and the last one is EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. Okay, let's do this. All right, so let's begin with havening technique. Now, this one, I can't even begin to tell you, I don't say shit I don't mean. If you know me well, I mean what I say and I say what I mean. And I say it exactly to the intensity of how valuable it was for me. So what I'm about to tell you is that havening technique probably saved my life. And it is so ingenious. When I tell you about this, you're literally going to be like, no way. It's going to sound almost stupid. It is so ridiculous how much this works and how it is just so simple. So let's get into this. So the havening technique essentially is both a somatic therapy as well as a nervous regulation technique. Now, this is not something I don't think that psychologists would use. It's more so what psychotherapists would use. And the reason for this is that there's still a lot of research that needs to be done. But let me tell you, boo, I am living proof, as well as all the clients who I helped and supported regarding trauma therapy. I am living proof, and so are they, that when I've been able to literally process trauma that I lived with for 10 years, and I got rid of it in 5 minutes max. And I do not say this lightly. I am not being funny. I know that my humor's, sometimes I say things that are dramatic because it's the way I am. But no. This is, I'm not exaggerating. With serious talk. Got my bangs out and everything. I'm serious. Okay. The havening technique has the fucking power to process trauma, PTSD level trauma that someone has lived with for decades within minutes. Okay, so not only is it a somatic therapy, it's also a nervous system regulation technique. So let me tell you a little bit about this. So by the way, Justin Bieber uses this to regulate his anxiety. He suffers from anxiety. He uses this as well. So I'm just putting it out there just to introduce it with that, because who doesn't love JB? Anyway, so how the havening technique works is that pretty much you've got, so your arms, so your bicep area, okay, the outside part of your skin there. I'm going to tell you the regions of where the havening technique, targets. So right now, even just do it with me. So just grab your left hand or whatever and just start rubbing your bicep area, but from the outside. So probably that's not your bicep. Is it a tricep? I failed human anatomy. I mean, yeah. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. The part that is between your shoulder and your elbow. So that's the havening technique region number 1. The next region is underneath your eyes, around that skin area. I want you to rub that as well. So we're going through a whole full body experience here. It's 5D almost. And then the next part, or the next region, is if you can just look at your thumb, start rubbing where your thumb is, underneath your knuckle, and now just sort of go in between the knuckle and your second finger, and then the skin area there. So that's the third region. Now, What are these regions? Why are they important? Why am I getting to rub yourself? Okay, it's for this. So these areas, so like I want you to do it with me in real time. So go back to the arm. That's my favorite one. I feel like it's the most powerful one because it has the most surface area. And so when we rub this part, these three regions of our body, these parts of our body, while we have human touch to it, actually accesses our delta brain waves, okay, which is pretty much like the equivalent to like the third stage of sleep. And it's essentially activating and bypassing your conscious mind. And so when you are rubbing your arm and you're underneath your eye and like near like your thumb skin area at the front there, your brain actually thinks your mother is soothing you. So your brain doesn't go, oh my God, I'm soothing myself. Your brain goes, mother is soothing me. Now, this is a primitive thing that we're born with, that where our mother has the healing touch. So when a mother is to soothe a child through touch, through the arm, through underneath the eye, and then like through the hand, it literally, for real, is accessing a part of your brain in which you are now able to free up like stress and regulate emotion, process trauma. And so we'll talk about it from the trauma perspective, and then I'll tell you how to use it to like just regulate emotion. Because remember, the Havening technique is both a somatic therapy technique as well as a nervous system regulation technique. And this is what I would call self-soothing. So from the trauma angle, this is what you do. These are the steps. You think like whatever issue you have, I'll give you an example. Let's say like you have a bit of like a struggle swallowing food because 9 years ago you choked on food, and ever since then it's just sort of gotten worse over time. And let's say you want to fix this, like you don't want to have an issue with swallowing food anymore. And assuming that your issues with swallowing is caused from that trauma, okay, and like you didn't have a problem prior to that, then you go back to your that memory. So the first time you ever freaked out and had a shitty experience, like through swallowing food or whatever, you think of the memory and you see it like it's a movie playing in your head, and like name it. So like maybe call it the swallowing of doom, right? Have fun with it, but see it as like a scene in your mind's eye of that memory. Once you can see the memory, I want you to drop the memory, forget about it. Like, don't even think about it. And now I want you to rub your arm. And for now, we'll just stick to that region. Rub your arm. And as you're rubbing your arm, we're not thinking about that anymore. It's time to distract your brain. I'm going to show you. I'm not just going to tell you about Havening technique. I'm going to show you in real time. You're now going to distract yourself. And by utilizing now you're going to distract your conscious mind, your beta brainwaves, right? All the while your body is accessing a different part of your brain. How I do this, the easiest one, is that I go through each letter of the alphabet naming a female's name, let's say. So I'll go A, Anna, B, Bethany, C, Christina, D, Danielle, E, Emily, F, Francesca, the list goes on. And I'll do this through like the alphabet. Now, after you've done this, after you've like rubbed your arm, and as you're rubbing your arm, okay, both arms, the more the better, like truly rubbing that part of your arm that I told you about. When you've done that, after you've done that, remember, you should not be remembering the memory whatsoever. Like that trauma, you forgot it. You should be that focused on going through the letters of the alphabet. When you've gone through the whole letters of the alphabet, go back to the memory. Think about the memory. If it was the swallowing of doom, the feelings that you, like the trauma or the fear or the anxiety or the discomfort that you felt about that memory would either have gone away altogether or reduced significantly. Now, from this place, if you're still struggling this present moment with swallowing food, it just means that trauma is a little bit deep. And so you just got to keep doing it. Repeat it over and over again. Maybe instead of doing the alphabet once, do it twice. And the second time, maybe name male names throughout the alphabet and just whatever. And just keep checking in, following those 3 simple steps of identifying the memory, dropping the memory, and then rubbing your arm while distracting yourself with the letters of the alphabet. This, for real, like changed my whole life. Like I can't even tell you. Like I had really intense PTSD. Like I couldn't function properly. Like my nervous system was so shot and so overloaded. I couldn't live my life normal. Like I actually lost everything, like for real. Yeah, this for real changed my life. It saved my life. And it's not something I did once. I honestly had to make it a lifestyle. Like because I've had so much trauma, every single time I'm triggered, I would use this technique. I would even do it in the car if I have to. Like I do it all the time. And like you have to clean away each memory as it comes. So there's just no way around it. Yeah. We're literally cleaning up the mind. And let me tell you why this works and how this works. So before I was saying that like you think of the memory and then you like let go of the memory and then you rub those regions of your body. In this case, in this example, we just did the arm, like that's enough, but all three is better, like alternating. And then you were distracted is because really what trauma is to your brain, it's an unprocessed memory. So I want you to imagine your brain is like a filing room, okay? And each file is a memory. And you've got filing cabinets and in these filing cabinets, each file needs to be put in its rightful place. What a trauma is that it's a file that's just hovering in the room and it's not organized into the filing cabinet in the proper category. And so when you actually process a trauma, what that really means is that file goes into a filing cabinet in a proper place. And it's now no longer a random memory that's stuck, aka trauma. It's now become a neutral long-term memory. It's now stored in your long-term memory. And all it has is wisdom. That's it. And so that is what trauma is, essentially, like in the most practical way possible, yeah? And doing the Havening technique while your brain was distracted with the letters of the alphabet, all the while you're accessing the delta brain waves, you're bypassing like your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is what is like stuck on it, right? Because there's so many files hovering around and there's a mess in your filing room. That's why people have symptoms from stress and anxiety and trauma, because there's so many files that aren't locked away. And the goal, like the non-traumatized brain, you could say, has no files lingering around. They're all in the proper cabinets. They are all organized and categorized into the right filing systems. And they are just neutral long memories. They don't have emotional charge to them anymore. And so while you were distracted, what happened is your brain's like, so the trauma's done. We can go. We can just turn this into a memory, because it's obviously a memory. Like she's talking about the fucking alphabet, and like my brain's relaxed and cool. Mum's soothing us. We're safe. Sweet. So let's just go put this file into the filing cabinet, right? And so when you stopped the alphabet and you went back to the memory wasn't this file that was hovering in your room, taking up space. That one memory, that one trauma became a memory, and it's now filed in that filing cabinet. And now you are literally a different person. You are as if that trauma didn't happen. That is what happens. This is why. Do you see how this literally changed my life? And so I want you to understand like deeper. So if like for me, for example, I had a lot of trauma and I'm still filing a lot of my traumas as we speak. This has been something I've been working on almost religiously, like for 2 years straight. But just so you know, like that's because I had a lot of trauma. But for me, my filing room, I want you to imagine there was like 5,000 files that's like scattered everywhere, and it's like hovering, and like I couldn't even walk in there, it would just hit me in the face. Throughout that time, every time I've done that, it was one memory that I filed away one by one, clean as I went. And how I found what files were even lingering there was just based in the present moment. If I'm triggered by someone looking at me funny, I go, "Ooh, when was the first time I felt like this? When was the first time I felt unsafe when someone looked at me?" And then I would backtrack that to my earliest memory and then follow those steps that I just shared with you. So that's how it's used. That's nervous system regulation 101, but like on a very deep level. That's like a long-term thing, not just in the moment regulating emotion. This is literally cleaning your nervous system, okay? And this works. This works for me. I use this on my clients. Like once again, it saved my life for real. Yeah. And so how we can use it as a self-soothing technique though, it's actually much easier, is that let's say you're just feeling anxious right now. You're just triggered, whatever. It doesn't matter why. You go back to those regions, so your arm, your underneath your eye, and your hand, and you just rub them. So you just do it for a minimum of 3 minutes, because it does take approximately like 3 to 7 minutes for your body to shift states completely and for your, stress hormones to regulate. It takes roughly that long, 3 to 7 minutes. So you want to do it for a minimum of 3 minutes, okay? And so you literally just rub your arm. That's it. Rub your arm, rub your hand area underneath your eye. That's it. You can, and just think about anything. Just focus on that. And the more you focus on the relaxation, you should feel relaxed immediately, because remember, your brain has that belief or that primitive instinct or that factory setting that, oh, mom is soothing us, and that signifies safety to the brain. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is pretty much a fancy word to say that you're not in fight or flight anymore. And therefore you are in rest and digest. And this is where your body can heal. This is when your immune system starts to work properly. This is when you're able to digest food. Your digestion in general becomes better. Your mind changes. You stop panicking, and you have your intelligence increases, literally. So yeah, that's the havening technique. And I promise the rest of them aren't going to be as a long explanation. This was the longest because it's the most important, the most life-changing, in my opinion anyway, and it's something that sort of would be a really good baseline knowledge, background knowledge for you to understand the rest easier. So havening technique, yes. Anyway, so number 2 is breathwork. Breathwork is really just a word to describe different types of nervous system regulation breathing or relaxation breathing. So don't think of breathwork as like it's one technique. It's not like havening technique where it's like one thing. Like there's not like 19 different kinds of havening technique tools. No, breathwork is different. It's just breathwork has like multiple, countless different kinds. It's like when you think of exercises, it's a topic. You've got weightlifting, you've got running, you've got dancing, you've got deadlifts. There's like different types of exercise. I want you to think of breathwork in the same way. And so what I'm going to do is going to share the ones that I think are like the most helpful, the ones that I love, and the ones that I use in my day-to-day life and why it's important. I want to begin with why breathwork is important first though. So the reason why breathwork is so important is because like when you're breathing in oxygen, you're breathing in life force, and like your ability to breathe correctly is like essentially pretty much your emotional health is linked to that, because our emotional health is physical. Okay, don't think of emotions as separate to our physical body. It's literally, it's physical. Like they are all, it's holistic. We are holistic beings. So what is done to our emotional health is done to our physical health. What is done to our physical health is done to our emotional health. So when it comes to breath, we are now not just breathing in life force energy, but our body will almost be able to regulate itself. The goal is to not just soothe yourself moment to moment. The goal is to literally change your nervous system so that it starts to work for you, that you don't have to manually do the nervous system regulation as often. This is more like training, like going to the gym, becoming more emotionally fitter, more psychologically fitter and neuro fitter. Really, this is what this is. And breath work is a big component to that, and in assisting you in literally changing your body's ability to handle stress. And so, for example, when you're stressed or you're anxious, you breathe differently. And how you can tell like whether or not you have a regulated nervous system or not, like the quality of a nervous system is that a healthy nervous system will, in an adult anyway, this doesn't count for infants. For an adult, we're only supposed to breathe 12 to 20 times per minute. If you are inhaling and breathing more than 12 to 20 times per minute, you are not breathing properly, boo. You probably don't have a regulated nervous system. You too might have a malfunctioning nervous system that's on overload, which can affect your memory, your focus, your learning, your intelligence, and it definitely cannot help you be a genius. So that's why nervous system regulation is a big part of genius for this very reason as well. And so, as I was saying, the breath work is so important for that reason, because you're training your body to do the work for you. And in time, over time, you won't even have to go out of your way to do the things that we're learning. It will just be a natural response. But like I said, when you are feeling anxious, naturally your breathing starts to change. You start to, right? And that's like literally 60 freaking breaths per minute. That is like 3 to 6 times more than you need to breathe. Then you have an imbalance of, oxygen in your body, and like your carbon dioxide's thrown off. And then that's how panic attacks occur, and whatever else. We don't want that. So now that you know why breath work is important, how it works, you know that it's got many different types, we can learn about some of the techniques and that you could do right now with me in this episode. Because remember, it's not about tell, it's show and tell. So my favorite type of breath work, oh my God, it's hard to choose, but probably this one is what the Navy SEALs use, and it's called box breathing, and it's so simple, and I find this very fucking effective. So pretty much what it is that you imagine a box, and so 4, 4, 4, 4, meaning you inhale for 4, you hold your breath for 4, you exhale for 4, you hold your breath again for 4, repeat. Let's do it together right now. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, repeat. Like, that's box breathing. Just from doing that like once, I even feel good. But remember, it takes 3 minutes minimum for our nervous system to regulate. So make sure you do that for 3 minutes if you can. So that's my favorite. Now you know why it's my favorite. And the Navy SEALs use it. How cool. I'm so obsessed with the whole concept of like military. I don't know why. Like, just the discipline turns me on so much, and just the whole thing. Anyway, I'm on a tangent. The next kind is alternative nostril breathing. Let's do this together. It's a bit hard to explain it audio, but like, I'm gonna do my best. The only way you're gonna understand this is if you do it with me, if you can. Okay, so just grab your use your left hand. I want you to use your left thumb to block your left nostril. I'm gonna do it with you. Now I want you to breathe in and then hold, and then now get your second finger, the pointing finger, and you quickly switch, blocking it. Now block your pointing finger, your left pointing finger, to your right nostril, and now exhale with your left nostril. Keep it there. I want you to inhale. Don't change your thumb yet. Don't change your fingers yet. Inhale through your left nostril again. And then now grab your left thumb and then block your left nostril, hold, and exhale with your right nostril while your left thumb is blocking your left nostril. Breathe in again through your right nostril while your thumb is still blocking your left. Hold. Now switch. Grab your second finger, block your right nostril, breathe out your left nostril. Good work. That's an alternative nostril breathing. Now, why does this work? Well, we're engaging with the different hemispheres of our brain. And when we are doing that, because you know how the left part of your brain controls the right side of your body, etc., vice versa. By doing this, when we are using different hemispheres of our brain, we naturally activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So that's why that works. And then the last one, this is probably the one that will give you the deeper relaxation. This is really good for you to help sleep. So pretty much it's this. You breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, and you exhale for 8. Let's do it together. Inhale for 4. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Good job. So you're going to find that at the beginning, it's going to feel really hard to do this work because most people don't breathe properly. And so when I first did this, when I started applying breathwork into my life, I was out of breath all the time. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. And it scared me a little bit. It made me more anxious. So it was counterproductive. And it was only because I didn't understand the science behind it. And so allow me to make sure that you never do that. So it's normal if you feel out of breath. Completely normal. Don't freak out. It's just like retraining your body. It's like when you go to the gym, when you first work out, your muscles hurt. It's completely normal. It's a part of the process. In time, it will change. It will become easier. And your lung capacity will improve, etc., etc. And so like when I first started, I couldn't even breathe out for 8 seconds. I'd have no breath. Whereas now I can breathe out for 15 seconds if I wanted to. Like I have a really good lung capacity and I'm a smoker. So that's saying something, all right? So this is really powerful. And you want to do this once again for a minimum of 3 minutes. So because once again, I'm going to keep reminding you, is that it takes 3 to 7 minutes, anywhere in that range, for our nervous system to regulate, for us to hit the parasympathetic nervous system, which is just a fancy word to describe us not being stressed anymore. We're in a relaxation state. Now, the next one is visualization. Oh my God, I love this. This can actually, like if you have, if you're a meditator, you're an experienced meditator, or you have a very strong imagination, or you're a visual person, then it's going to be easier for you. If you're not, then you might struggle with this at first, but there's nothing practice can't change. But if you know how to do this properly, I would say that you can actually sort of hack that 3 minutes, or in a way where your body can relax much faster, like really, really fast, if you know how to do this. Because our brain cannot tell the difference between reality or imagination. So if you can see something in your mind's eye that is really fucking relaxing to you, then your nervous system straight away matches that, and it actually just goes back to the parasympathetic nervous system, which is what we want, because that's how we regulate the nervous system. And so the one that I use, I'm not going to say it's going to work the same for you. The point here is to find a vision that brings you uniquely so much relaxation. For me, it's the fucking beach at sunset. And it's something that I practice all the time, that like I immerse myself in my senses. So this is what you do really. So you think of your happy place or your relaxation place, your safe place. For me, it's the beach. Let's use mine for the sake of this example. Mine specifically is so fucking vivid. And it needs to be vivid for this to work. So I'm going to paint you the scene. So behind me is these gorgeous houses and mansions, and I live behind it in this scene in my mind, in this visualization. And my family live across this whole strip. My friends, my family. It's like we have like a whole village, and it's like our front yard is the beach, and it's sunset. But everyone is just inside and they can't really see me, and I'm sitting on the sand and I'm sitting cross-legged in the meditation position, and I grab my right hand and I just mush it over the gorgeous soft white sand, and in my visualization I can literally feel the softness of the sand. And the more senses you engage in your visualization, the more powerful this works. And then in front of me, I see this gorgeous horizon, the sunset, the way the sun is reflecting on the water, and I see the water just this beautiful sound. It's not strong waves. It's this gorgeous, very gentle crashes, and I'm just relax as fuck, right? Like when I just go to this scene, it's my go-to place. I can regulate my nervous system depending on the situation. Obviously, it's a bit harder if I'm having when I used to have really bad panic attacks, this didn't work because that's a whole separate thing. Anyway, but I can make myself calm within seconds. And it's a practice. If you can practice this, your version of this, you can use mine or add your own sort of flavor to it. I'd say the beach is very commonly very safe, but the more details you have that are uniquely safe for you is more powerful. Because it's not just, when people say, oh my God, just go to a safe place. Imagine a beautiful relaxing beach in Fiji, and if it's really quiet and no, it doesn't work. That's not helpful. Guys, No, you know when they say that, it's really, aren't they annoying when they just say, go to your happy place? And it's like, stop it. It's like, I'm feeling more anxious because guess what? Being alone in an island in a beach with palm trees is like a nightmare for me. I'm actually more stressed now. You know what I mean? Because for me, you know, not like being alone in a desert or not desert, in an island with a beach freaks me out. The beach is not necessarily what calms me. I know myself enough to know it's every component. It's sunset. It's white soft sand. It's gentle waves, not strong waves. It's having like a home behind me. It's knowing that my loved ones are literally within meters away from me. That's my fucking safe place. And you need to know who you are, what makes you feel safe so that you can have that on demand at any time. Gratitude, joy, high vibration, and nervous system regulation is available to you at any fucking moment, no matter where you are, no matter what the fuck is going on in your life. And if you haven't already noticed, if the Navy SEALs use this, if the military use this, when they are obviously using this in very extreme life or death circumstances, you know, that goes to show the power of this. That this is no joke. All right? Like, we can do this. We are allowed to use this. And it's fucking free. Like, what? Like, it's free. Like, that's the best part. Anyway. So, that's that's visualization. And then the last two is meditation and EFT, but let's go with meditation. So meditation is just like what we spoke about before about breathwork. It's like an umbrella term, and it's not meditation. You just meditate. That's why people hate meditation. No one understands what it is. I've actually still probably out of like the millions of people talking about meditation, probably seen one person who I feel like knows what the fuck they're talking about, because meditation is like me saying to you exercise, and you've never seen what deadlifting is. You don't know what the treadmill is. You don't know what cardio is, and me telling you to exercise. That's the equivalent of someone telling you to meditate. Until you understand the different kinds of and options of meditations there are out there and what each type is used for, then of course we're not going to be able to meditate. So allow me to change the game for you, okay? You got to know more about meditation than like most of the world, I'm just saying. So meditation, once again, is just the same as exercise. It's just a category or a description, an umbrella term for many different modalities and techniques for someone to go within. Okay? That's it. It's very simple. And so, okay, I'm going to tell you some of them and how you can use them. So some of them include compassionate meditation, self-love meditation, focus meditation, mindfulness meditation. The one that I'm going to say is the most helpful for the sake of nervous system regulation, I would say is self-compassion meditation. Now, this is one of my favorites, and it's pretty much getting your body to learn how to love itself and love others. So this is like really, really fucking powerful. And all you do is this: you close your eyes, you begin by focusing on your breath, just so you can come back to the present moment. Let's do this together right now. Close your eyes if you can. Obviously, if you're driving, don't do it. But like, if you're safe to, just close your eyes. Focus on your breath. And now I want you to put your awareness into your heart, literally your heart area. And I want you to think and imagine someone who doesn't say they love you enough. And I want you to see that person say to you everything you needed to hear. I want you to see them say, I love you so much, I appreciate you, and I don't say it enough. And I want you to notice the feeling of love and compassion in that moment that you get in your imagination. And I want you to give that love to yourself right now. Breathe into it. You're not now just going to give that love to yourself, you're going to receive that love from yourself. And just keep focusing on that feeling and holding that feeling, practicing that feeling over and over again. See it as a cycle. Breathe in the love, breathe out the love, breathe in the love, breathe in the love. So that's giving love, receiving love. And then from here, just keep focusing on this space. And And the way that I just told you, the technique that I just used, that's my personal way of doing it. Self-compassion meditation is a thing. It's an actual thing. I didn't create it. But the way that I just got you to do it is a way that I have found over time has been the most powerful, because usually the people who we are subconsciously are dying for their validation or their approval, or we need them to give us their love, or waiting for their love. This can really harm us subconsciously if we don't realize that we're actually giving away our power. So this is killing two birds with one stone. Like, you're literally relinquishing their power over you, and you're taking your power back. At the exact same time, you are training your body to be in a love state and compassionate state. And it will relax your nervous system really fucking well, because someone who has a unregulated nervous system, they usually have self-disconnection, they're usually emotionally unavailable, and they usually don't feel love, believe it or not. So this will actually help you release oxytocin and all the things as well, which is like the bonding hormone and whatever else, right? So that's that. And the last one is EFT. Oh, just by the way, remember, meditation, there's lots of different kinds. I just told you one. I'll put I was going to put something in the show notes, but I'll do another episode on meditation in itself, because I feel like that needs a whole episode. This one's already getting a little bit long, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so the last one is EFT. Stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and pretty much it is like you tapping on the energy meridians of the body. Some of them include the top of your head. Do it with me right now. So just start tapping your head at the top of your head where the crown is, and then the next part is like your temples, so the side of your head. The next region is underneath your eye. The next region is just above your lip. And then the next region is underneath your lips, so your chin area. The next region is underneath your collarbone towards the center. And another region you have is where your bra line sits, so underneath your armpit, like on the side there. And then you've got your the inside of your wrists, yeah? And pretty much EFT is you tapping on these areas while you are saying things that calm you. For example, I am safe to be in my body. I am safe to relax. I am good enough as I am. I'm so worthy for all the abundance that's coming my way. Like this sort of thing. It's speaking, it's literally, it's a type of somatic therapy as well, by the way. So it's one of those things that's similar to Havening technique. And I just find that all somatic therapies usually are dual in their purpose. Like they're both a therapy as well as a regulation technique, which is really fucking cool. So that's EFT, and I really recommend, if you want to know more, if that was like really cool for you and you're really into, like you want to know more, I'll put this in the show notes. That Gala Darling, I've learned a lot of my EFT from her. I've learned it from other people as well, but I love the way she teaches it. She's considered like a tapping queen. Like she's got like a really cool membership where she taps with you live like every Sunday. She's really awesome. You can find her on Instagram. I couldn't recommend her anymore for EFT. So that's a wrap for today's episode. How fucking sick, by the way. Like you just got like a full, comprehensive, but simple and actionable guide on how you can regulate your nervous system. Like now I'm sure like you're so obsessed with like all those things. You can't wait to try it. Try them all, do them all. They all have their own purpose. Make it fun, because you'll just get bored if you're just doing one thing all the time. And I hope that this has inspired you to actually go seek, a therapist who specializes in Havening technique. I hope that this has fucking inspired you, like for real. Remember, it changed my life. And the best part about Havening technique is that when you get good at it, when you start learning it with your therapist, you can do it on yourself, because I do it on myself. Even though I was a therapist, I mean, like I had a therapist do it for me as well. But I mean, like sometimes if I'm like, I want to process a trauma and I want to see a therapist, I can do it on myself. I have a life skill. I'm not afraid of getting traumatized anymore, because it's not the trauma that we're ever afraid of. It wasn't. It was how powerless we felt over it. It's that we thought we had no control over it and what it can do to us. The second that you know that you actually have fucking power, you know what you can do, your life fucking changes. That's why I don't care that I still have some trauma to like process. I don't care, because I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of doing it. Because the main issue, I'd say the biggest trauma of all, is believing that you are a victim to your trauma and that you are powerless over it and that it is impossible for it to go away. I think that's the ultimate one. The second that you know that you're one of those few people in the world, you're probably 1% of the population who now know that you in fact are not powerless, then that in itself, you've won. Like, you have, in my opinion, that's equivalent to being healed, because you know that you can, because you know it's possible, the work is done, now you just got to do it. And so I hope this episode has inspired you to both seek a havening technique practitioner, a psychotherapist who specializes in it, and or you now revolving your entire life around nervous system regulation and training your body and being a genius and thinking like a genius, because if you put in the work now, your future self will thank you, because your body will eventually be able to automatically process your emotions and regulate your nervous system like on autopilot. And when you do it, it's just an added fucking bonus and it becomes pleasurable. So please send this episode to someone who suffers with anxiety, who has PTSD or any form of trauma, chronic stress. Seriously, you'll be a part of this movement. You're part of the Hot Genius gang, and I thank you so much for being here, for being a part of this community, for supporting myself and the show, and for showing up for you. For showing up for yourself and your loved ones and sharing the things here so that they too can become hot geniuses like you and me, because we can't be selfish and keep this to ourselves. Like, we gotta like share it with everyone else, and like we can't do this ourselves. We gotta like spread the word, okay? And by you just listening to this and then sharing this with one other person who could benefit from this show, you are a part of this movement. You are changing the world, and it takes 20 seconds to do so. And I'm here to thank you, because it's not about the time, it is about your intent. And I'm so grateful for you. So much love, babe. Until next time.